This hour is brought to you by Jeremy Temple Law Office of Bloomington. Personal injury, criminal, business, whatever you need, Jeremy Temple Law Office will get you taken care of.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Well, come on along and welcome aboard Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary here on this Wednesday. It's Hump Day, February 5. And, man, do we have a show for you to get you over the hump. Man, oh, man. Matt Weaver's going to join us, of course, as the Dream Weaver always does on each and every Wednesday. But we're going to spice it up today. How about Christian Watford joining us on the program today? So looking forward to that. It's also college football signing day. So we're going to get to that with Matt Weaver. Big news from up north. Mark D'Antonio stepping down as the head coach at Michigan State. That's quite a bit. That's quite surprising. On one hand, on the other hand, it's not. We'll talk about all that. We got lots of action from last night to talk about in the Big Ten. Penn State, Michigan State, Rutgers, Maryland, Ohio State, Michigan, all in action. Got games tonight to get to. So all kinds of things to get to that me and Mr. Todd are going to talk about as soon as he gets back in here. He had to step out. So, yeah, there's a lot going on, man. But nothing bigger than Mark D'Antonio resigning. It's caught a lot of people by surprise, but there was, there's something there, and I'm not disappointed. I'm not a fan of D'Antonio. I don't think he's a good person. I think that he's not I just don't think he has the type of standards that a lot of other people have. But that decided stuff doesn't matter. But yeah, I think he was asked to replace certain coordinators last year, and he either did or he didn't, and he was kind of getting into a power struggle at that point. They weren't liking what was going on, and so I can't remember if he didn't and just rolled the dice. And so this is kind of where he is. I think he's been forced into this situation personally, but who knows? But it is what it is. Todd, are you there? I can't tell.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm talking about Mark D'Antonio resigning. A little surprising, but not completely. There was some stuff going on up there, no doubt.
Yeah, I think the surprising part is the timing. I mean, this is now with today being the second signing period.
Yeah, it's kind of a big day.
It really is, and I mean, if this was something, must have happened that. It got to the boiling point, because otherwise this would have been done right after the season was over. You would have thought, from both sides' perspective. I mean, if a guy steps down, something has happened that I doubt we'll ever know about. But yeah, it's just he wasn't getting along with the administration or something along the lines. But then how's he stay on as an employee? Like, that's what doesn't make any sense to me.
It's all about the money, man. It's all about the money.
I guess
follow the money trail, but yeah, it's a weird deal. But yeah, hey, Christian Watford on the program today. How about that?
The watch shot, you gotta love it.
Watch shot. I wonder, you think, can he enter the contest that they have at IU at halftime?
Oh man, I'd be You know what? You would never want to set that up again. If I was him, I would say, my back hurts.
No, you cannot take the chance on missing that. No.
He's 1 for 1 lifetime. There's no way you ever take that shot.
I don't know that this story is true, because I was going to say, because sometimes in life you just get one opportunity. So I don't know this story is true. This is a Pat Graham story that I can't remember if his ex-father, his former father-in-law, who's passed away now, told me that or who, but apparently he challenged Knight to a free throw shooting contest one day, and somehow Knight wins.
I can already tell you it's not true.
I believe it, but whatever contest this was, they said, wait, let's do this again. And Knight walked away and said, nope, sometimes you just get one opportunity in life, and just walked away. But
so here is my remember 30 years ago recollection. There's a story somewhere somewhat like that, but it's not a free throw contest. It's either like one free throw or it was like a hook shot or something from the free throw line. It was something weird. There was something weird with it. The story is true, but the details are a little bit foggy.
Right. I got you.
There was something like that. And yes, coach dropped the mic and walked out and said, "Nope, no reason for me to ever shoot it again." But it's some parts of it are true. It's just, it wasn't a free throw. There's no way in the world.
But the gist of the story, the point is made. Just walk away, baby.
Right,
just
right.
walk away.
There's no way Christian Watford could ever take that shot again.
Oh, no. Hell no, man.
How about if we get a sponsor to come in and recreate it, and if Christian hits the shot, they donate money to a charity of his choice. And if he misses the shot,
they still get money.
We have to come up with some terrible thing that he has to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll put our marketing department on that one.
Tom Izzo went off on social media. We'll hear from him later on Mark D'Antonio. But I don't know what he was. I saw. Said, "I'm sick of it." I don't know if this was on Twitter or where this was, but.
And I really mean this from the bottom of my heart. If there's any Michigan State people out there that are abusing some of my players on that fricketer, I'm sick of it. Okay? I'm sick of dealing with what I got to deal with on that. So if they are Michigan State fans, I'll be more than happy to buy their tickets. And I mean that.
Tom is a wine. You want a little cheese with that wine, Tom?
What did he say?
He's whining about people on social media attacking his players.
Okay.
So for all the IU people out there who think that this only happens amongst the Indiana
in Indiana, right?
There you go. It does
Right.
not. This is a moronic sickness that is.
Isn't he the one who just came out and said? Wasn't it Michigan State the ones that reported that they were using it as a recruiting tool? Like, you don't want to go to Indiana because their fan base is so bad, or they've had X number of players tell them that they don't want to go to Indiana because the fan base.
Probably, but who knows?
It was Michigan State. I'm
It's
almost
so
positive,
funny.
wasn't it?
Yeah, probably. It's just funny. I mean, it's funny when things aren't going right. The things that you can find to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a really old. This is one of those that just
Sound like a robot there.
like trying to be funny. There's just been so many different things happen with, the tragedy with Cassius Winston's family, and the player being ruled not eligible to play, and him being on the.
But today's also
I'll
college football signing day. Looking forward to talking to Matt Weaver about that. This is not a very big class for Indiana. But that's mainly because they just simply didn't have the scholarships to offer. This is not an indictment on Indiana. And we talked about hopefully they can take advantage of this past season and all that. And this isn't really the year. We talked to Dustin about that yesterday, Dustin Schutte. It's probably next year where they'll benefit more from this past season, because this season, this was a smaller class. A lot of the guys they were already recruiting on anyway. So, not a huge class for Indiana in this, but we'll see what they get done. Well, certainly seen a lot of offers going out. That's for certain.
Yeah, I mean, this is a weird, it's kind of a weird timing for the football program in that, you've almost got to be able to create, greatness with what you've got and then build off of that. And we talked about it all year long, though. They had so many young players that, you gave me a crazy stat earlier in the year about how many sophomores that were playing, freshmen and sophomores that were playing for this team already. And so, they've got a couple of years to build onto that. And I don't know too many players that Indiana has that are going to go to the NFL draft early. So, I mean, it's not that alarming that they don't have a huge class. I mean, I love the fact that it was based off the offensive line for the most part.
Let's see.
I can tell you insanely agree.
I do. I was thinking about
I know
these games. I was at Purdue tonight. Purdue, obviously, Indiana's opponent on Saturday. That would be a humongous confidence builder for Purdue if they could pull that win off, because Iowa's playing pretty damn well right now, even though this game's going to be on the road for them. This is an opportunity for Purdue to really gain some confidence, or it's an opportunity for Iowa to steal a road game here against a team that is very susceptible to that, and that does not send you on the road with confidence when you get beat at home.
Yeah, I mean, Iowa is a fun, strange, unique kind of team, and that, truly they're a lot like a lot of former Indiana teams, and that they've got 4 or 5 guys on the floor almost all the time that can shoot the ball. And, the one guy they have that doesn't shoot the ball very well is their point guard. It's not their big guy, as you would guess. Luka Garza is one of the best 3-point shooters on their team. And, at Maryland, I think he made 3 or 4 3-pointers. But, their point guard doesn't shoot the ball very well, and he's a freshman. But Iowa's one of those teams that can go anywhere and win because they are that good of a shooting team. And, they're scary. They're a team that could go on a run and win the Big Ten, even with the losses they currently have on it. But they're also a team that kind of lives and dies by making shots. And, if they also
R2D2 reporting.
Am I still breaking up?
It sounds like R2D2 on the report there. Oh, man, we got Christian Watford coming up here in a minute. Looking forward to talking to him. You know what? I don't know that I try to remember seeing an interview with Christian Watford, and I don't recall one. He's a rare get.
You are amazing.
I don't know. Yeah. Having a little technical problems there with Todd this morning. We'll get that straightened out here in a second. But, C-Watt coming up next, man. I'm looking forward to that. I don't see interviews with him. Part of that's because he has been playing, like Todd mentioned. These guys that are overseas, it's hard to get to because they spend up to 8 months out of the country, which that's a hard life. I mean, that's a hard life to live. I know you're making good money, but it still can be tough to do that, can it?
Yeah, it's insane. And here's what a lot of people, this is what the stigma, this is what I always thought. Can you hear me okay?
At the moment.
This is what I always thought growing up, and what you always heard was, the money you make overseas, it's tax-free, and you get to bring it all home and all that. What you don't factor into all that is the cost of living over there is higher than what it is in New York City. And I don't care where you're at. Like, I was in France, I was in Cyprus, I was in Greece, I was in Dubai. I mean, I've traveled to all different kinds of places, and the cost of living is so outrageous, it's unbelievable. I mean, like, to give you an example, to fill my gas tank would cost like $300, and that was 25 years ago. And wow. So, you're not bringing home the kind of money that it sounds like you should be bringing home. Even if you go over there and play for a couple $100,000, you're not bringing that money home because it just costs so much to live. I was provided a car and a house, and it still was insanely expensive to live over there. And that was, like I said, that was more than 25 years ago. So I can't imagine what it is now.
I can't. That's the toughest part of anything, and it makes a huge difference. And so, yeah, I know exactly what you mean, because it can certainly change how you're able to live and the way you're able to live, and whether or not that you're enjoying life or not. But
and you don't go over there. I think we had somebody on here that we were talking. It might have been Jordan Holes. You don't go over there and live in a brand new apartment. Like the apartment that you have at Indiana University is nicer than what you're going to live in when you go overseas. It's not like you go over there and live in some Taj Mahal type apartment building, it's usually not very nice.
Well, let's go to bring us to that time. We're going to take a break because when we come back, we're going to have Christian Watford here with us. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. We're back with that right after this.
Fidel all the way outside to Watford. 3 on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game! Christian Watford with a 3! And the Hoosiers have knocked off the number 1 ranked Kentucky Wildcats! Unbelievable!
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Ryan Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is A.J. Moyer.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Bad theater seats, cheap Halloween masks, my apartment, all things with obstructed views. Add to these large trucks and buses. 18-wheelers and large buses have big blind spots, and like my apartment, they don't always have the best view. Bus and truck drivers deal with blind spots around the entire vehicle. Always take care not to ride alongside or too close behind them. Our roads, our safety. Learn more at sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Hi, this is A.J. Moyer, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Coyle Leary with you here on this Hump Day, Wednesday, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Could not be happier. Special guest today, Christian Watford, former Hoosier player with us. Christian, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us, man. We appreciate you.
Oh, man, there's no problem. There's no problem at all.
What's new in the life of Christian Watford? What's going on? Are you still in season at the moment? Or are you out of season right now?
I'm out of season right now, man. I kind of just took this year with my brother playing. I kind of wanted to be so close and be involved in it a little bit with with him going to LSU and him being a potential draft prospect and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to, make sure he gets that done and make sure he stay on course and we get that done. And it's been going well so far.
Yeah, they've had a pretty good season so far, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been doing well. They're 8-0 in the conference and ranked 18 right now, so they're steady climbing.
Todd? Got Todd Leary with us here as well, Christian.
Hey, Christian, how you doing, buddy?
You said we got who now?
Todd Leary, former IU player Todd Leary, with us as well.
What's going on, Todd? How you doing, man?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing well, man.
So this is kind of interesting because the same situation happened at Purdue with a brother tandem there, and one of the players graduated. I can't remember his name. Who was that? Jim that graduated last year. His brother's there now. Played at Zionsville.
I can't remember who you're talking about.
Gosh, dang it! I can't think of his name. I know them really well, but I mean, he kind of gave up his career to help his brother, and and he didn't have the kind of career you had. I mean, he didn't have the opportunity, I think, to go play overseas and make a lot of money like you did. But I know you're giving up a lot to do that for your brother, and it's just we're starting to see that a lot more. And I know Indiana fans were super involved in the recruitment of your brother and all of that. And so we followed him a lot, and we still do because of you. And it's fun to see, a brother tandem like you. He's going to gain so much and have such an advantage over the other guys that are in that draft because of the wisdom and maturity you can give him and help him provide for that. Is that really what you're trying to accomplish by doing that?
100%. And I think it's been helping him just so far anyway. I kind of give him a different perspective than a college coach perspective of, playing team basketball, but at the same time, trying to reach your dreams and stuff like that. So we've been successful with it lately. So it's been worth it for sure.
That begs the question then, Christian, is coaching in your future something that you'd be interested in doing?
It's definitely something that I'm interested in. I'm not necessarily sure what I want to do, but it's definitely something I've always took a great interest in, and people have told me I'll be great at it just because I got so much. I feel like I got so much knowledge to get a game. So, we'll see in a couple of years.
Have you ever considered any other things like being an agent or doing any stuff like that?
Yeah, I have. That's one of the other things that I've been thinking about doing, but that's a dirty game, so I don't know if I really want to get into it.
I'll tell you what, if you ever get an opportunity, I don't know if you've ever met him or not, but Mike Conley's dad, we went to the same high school together, and Mike Conley, played at Ohio State, played for Memphis for a long time. His dad kind of took that same route, and when Greg Oden and Mike Conley went to Ohio State, Mike Conley's dad kind of followed him and became their agent and kind of negotiated a lot of their contracts and all that stuff. If you ever get an opportunity to meet him or talk to him, I know he could give you a lot of insight on the ins and outs of what's good and bad with that. I know he has a lot of good opinions on, the bad side of that you're talking about. But it's just an interesting situation, and I think you could give, just great help to your brother in that scenario. And you just don't see very many players that still have the abilities that you have to give that opportunity up and be selfless and go help their brother out. But it's pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, no doubt. I love to sit down and talk to him. Just because it's just something that always interests me. So, but I just want to, at the end of the day, I kind of want to give, most of my time to my brother. Being a sports agent.
Sure.
If I had, a bunch of clients and stuff, I wouldn't be able to do that. So that's the only thing that's probably, that I really be thinking about.
Have you been able to keep up with the college basketball season this year? It's a crazy season so far. The Hoosiers,
man, I've been watching it. I've been locked in on it this year than I have the last couple of years. So just because I got a brother in it, but man, it's been crazy wild, right?
Yeah, can you believe? I mean, some of these wins, losses, it's nuts. And the Big Ten has been so tough on the road, and now it's kind of changing a little bit. But Indiana's been fighting in and out all year long, and they've got a tough one this week. Purdue comes in, as you know, always a tough game when the Boilermakers come in.
Always, man. Always going to be tough. It's just how it is in the Big Ten, man. Playing on the road in the Big Ten is almost, it's real tough. I mean, if you get probably 3 road wins, 2-3 road wins, you'll probably get in just because if you take care of home court. So it's been real competitive, man. I can only imagine how the tournament going to be this year.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm looking forward to is just because we've seen what we've seen already. It's like what we usually get when the tournament comes around. We get those special games at the tournament, but we've been getting those since November, and it's just been nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I ain't never seen nothing like it.
But that's a benefit.
I feel like every year we say this, like, oh my gosh, it's so competitive, it's so different. But this year truly is different. Like this year there's more. When you've got a Big Ten like it is, and even, the SEC, like what you're dealing with there with your brother, Christian, I mean, it's amazing. The Big Ten is getting so much publicity, and I know you're probably pulled both ways on it because, you played in the Big Ten and it's what you're known for, but your brother, I mean, the SEC it's not a cakewalk either. Every game you look at, you got Kentucky playing, you got Kentucky traveling on the road playing Texas Tech, and you guys are playing Tennessee and Auburn and all these. I mean, every game seems like in every conference, it's just a battle. And this year is the most fun year I've had in basketball in a long, long time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I done had a chance to watch both conferences. So, man, it's just tough out here right now.
Yep.
Are you able to keep up with any of your old teammates? I know Vic just got back onto the court, and those guys. Are you able to keep in touch with those guys?
Oh yeah, I talked to all my guys pretty much. We do a good job at keeping in contact for the most part. I talked to Vic, Derek, Elston, Jordan. I pretty much talked to all those guys really.
We see Derek quite a bit. Vic was in Bloomington not too terribly long ago. Derek's here kind of frequently. When's the next time you think you're going to be able to make it back to a game?
Oh man, it's been so tough just because I was trying to come back for the alumni night, but I couldn't get back just because my brother played the game on that same night, and I go to all his games. So it's gonna be tough, man. I've been trying to figure it out, when I can get in there and get back. So I just got to figure it out. I definitely want to get in there though, man.
Well, we know the fans would love to. You're actually at every game, Christian. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Oh yeah,
because they play your watch shot at the beginning of the introductions of the team every game. So you get a big round of applause at every game. You just don't even know it.
Yeah, I heard about that. So I definitely got to get back, man. Why they still love me there? You know what I'm saying?
You need to come back
so I should be good regardless.
You need to come back and collect your royalties. I'm sure they're paying you for every time they play you, right?
Oh no,
I could.
Christian, it even gets better than that. I want you to come back because they also now there's a contest that they're having at halftime where they hit two fans and they recreate the watch shot. And yeah, I want you to enter the watch shot contest.
No, I won't let you.
No, I can't do that because if I miss, then it won't look good no more.
That's exactly.
We were just talking about that earlier. We were just talking about that.
I can't do that, even though I don't think I miss it, but still, I don't want to risk it.
Not a chance. We wouldn't.
Yeah, we were.
Nah. But I seen that though, man. A bunch of people was adding me on Twitter on that, and showing me, the contest and stuff. I said, man, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It's fun.
But it's I love it though.
That's a great tribute. Yeah, what a great tribute. I don't think that I've ever seen anything quite like that. That's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, no doubt. It's definitely special for sure.
So you definitely give your stamp of approval to the watch shot contest.
Oh yeah, it gets my approval for sure.
That's awesome.
Long little watch shot, man, forever.
And I was going to say, I think I already knew the answer, but I'm sure some people wonder, do you get sick of people bringing that up?
People ask that all the time. I don't really get sick of it no more. It was a point where it was kind of, nerve-wracking and stuff, but, it was probably, more so like right after it happened and, my whole senior year, it was talking about it while we were trying to win national championship. So that was when it was getting on my nerve while I was still like, actively at Indiana and stuff like that. But now I don't really bother me no more.
I mean, you won an ESPY for that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. So I definitely can't be too mad about it. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, that was the coolest thing. I'm like, wow, an ESPY. That's up there, man. That's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That's a great accomplishment. A lot of people don't get a chance to do that, so I was nervous. I was nervous as heck giving that speech, man, but we got it done.
So, what's next for Christian Watford?
Oh, we'll see, man. I can't. It's so hard right now, man. My basketball career and everything's all up in the air right now. So we'll see. I can't really give no definitive answer, but I kind of wanted, like I said, to make sure this is a chance of a lifetime for my brother to get this done. And if I can help him reach his dream, even go further than I could, then it'll be all worth it for me.
Is he a one and done? Is Trendon a one and done? Will he go this year?
He's a potential prospect. He got that type of potential. He's on the board right now, so we're going to evaluate.
I mean,
him.
I've seen him. I've seen him on all the boards. I mean, he's going to get drafted. That wasn't my question. I just didn't know if that's in the plan. I mean, you guys.
It ain't a lot. I mean, we probably only do that with a guaranteed first round pick. I wouldn't advise him to leave if he was, borderline end of the first, early second. Right. I wouldn't advise it then. But if we're mid to, early to mid or something like that, pick, yeah, definitely.
Gotcha.
He's already got that agent lingo going. Potential prospect.
Yep. Yeah, man. We'll see. We definitely gonna. But we're just gonna finish out strong, man. I think we got the team they got. They're exciting. They're different kind of team. Kind of play well on the road a little bit. So they think they got a chance at going far. And with the way the college basketball being lately, who knows.
Absolutely. Well, Christian, man, we can't thank you enough for joining us today. We appreciate it. Hopefully we can do it again in the future. Well, as we get further in the season, we'll check back with you, see what's going on. But, man, we can't thank you enough.
Man, thank y'all for having me, man. Y'all hit me up anytime. I'll be a lot of love to get on.
We appreciate you. We appreciate your father, Ernest. Tell him thanks again as well. You guys have a great day.
Yes, sir. You too, man. Y'all enjoy yourself.
See you, brother.
Go Hoosier.
There you go. There's Christian Watford joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat on this Wednesday. We got plenty more coming up. Matt Weaver's on the program today. It is college football signing day, so we've got some stuff to talk about there. Mark D'Antonio resigns at Michigan State. We'll get to that. Indiana taking on Purdue this weekend. The Boilermakers taking on the Iowa Hawkeyes tonight, so we'll talk about that. That's Indiana's next opponent. So that ties together very nicely. Plenty more coming up here from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Back right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Bad theater seats, cheap Halloween masks, my apartment, all things with obstructed views. Add to these large trucks and buses. 18-wheelers and large buses have big blind spots, and like my apartment, they don't always have the best view. Bus and truck drivers deal with blind spots around the entire vehicle. Always take care not to ride alongside or too close behind them. Our roads, our safety. Learn more at sharetheroadsafely.gov.
This is former Indiana basketball player Greg Green. Keep up with the Hoosiers on Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer. Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat, here on this Wednesday, February 5. Coyle Lear with you, coming to you from the Golf Club Eagle Point Studios. Just finished up with Christian Watford, the Watt Shop man, of course. Living life, helping out his brothers, currently playing at LSU. They're having a pretty good season thus far, Todd.
Yeah, they are. I mean, obviously Trendon is a insanely talented player. You could sit here and play the game all day long, but man, he would have had an incredibly positive impact on this Indiana team. And can you imagine a freshman tandem of Trace Jackson Davis and him out there on the floor? I mean, he would have. And the crazy part is you can't argue with where he's at. He's doing fine where they're at. But
the thing is,
he'd have been used in a bigger role here,
and he would have had more success. They would have had more team success.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I'm sure when he was being recruited, I mean, they had that whole coaching scandal stuff going on. Like, I'm sure that, they didn't foresee they were going to have the issues they have. But tonight, I mean, they're playing pretty well.
Yep. Tonight up in West Lafayette, the Hawkeyes pay a visit to Purdue. Ironically, I guess the Hawkeyes will just stay in Indiana because
remember, it's a long time in between.
Oh, that's right. Golly,
Saturday to Thursday.
What am I thinking? I'm sorry. I was thinking the normal schedule of a game being a couple days later, and now I forgot it's a freaking week. But ironically, Iowa is Indiana's next opponent after Purdue. They play Saturday. So this little triangle tonight, Purdue at hosting Iowa, rather. Man, Iowa's playing. If Purdue can pull a win out, that is gigantic because they're one of those teams. I don't see them making the tournament this year. They're not good enough from what I've seen, but they can change that. Anything can be changed. Purdue is not in the tournament in my mind right now, but you win this game, that changes that conversation because Iowa is one of the best teams in the Big Ten. They're one of the top three in my mind. I don't know, top 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4 because there's 4 really good teams at the top of the Big Ten.
And here's what you can even say with them. Like, they could be in the top 5 teams in the Big Ten, but on any given night, they can play better than every team in the league. Like, I think they are the one team that has the ability to play better than everyone else. And if you put 2 teams on the floor and they both play really well, I think, and Iowa's one of them, I think Iowa would be the team that would win. And that's just simply because their ability to shoot the ball.
And they have the best player in the league on top of that.
They do. That was one of the things you watched. Like at Maryland, I wanted to see like how they decided to defend him. And they did a great job at taking Luka Garza out of the game for the first 15 minutes. They were double teaming, but then Maryland got into some foul trouble, and Luka Garza ends up with 25 points in the game after not scoring for the first 15 minutes. And so Iowa figures out a way to stay in the game when Luka Garza is being double teamed, and they can pull that double team out. I mean, that's why I think they're the most dangerous team to play in all the Big Ten. Home or away, it doesn't matter, because if they shoot the ball well, they're going to beat almost anybody on a given night.
I agree. Last night in the Big Ten, little action, a big game. We've got to talk about this. Penn State goes into East Lansing, and they knock off Tom Izzo in the Izzone 75-70. That is a big win. That is a statement by Penn State. They are here to play, man.
Yeah. Right after, they just got ranked again this week, and you go on the road and win a game against Michigan State, and it's not like it was a depleted Michigan State team. I mean, they were full force out there, and Penn State had a decent lead, and they let it slip away. Michigan State came back and got a little bit of a lead on their own, and that's when your team is legit, when you can be on the road at Michigan State and regain your composure and take the lead back and make the plays at the end of the game to win it. And I will say, though, Penn State missed some free throws at the end where they could have salted that game away, and they didn't do it. But they were lucky enough. Cassius Winston got fouled on a made basket. They were down. Michigan State was down by 3. Cassius Winston got fouled on a made basket with 9 seconds to go, and he missed the free throw. 86% free throw shooter, and he missed the free throw. So, they were able to put it away. But yes, an enormous amount of credit. I think we could be done talking about how tough it is to win on the road. 2 of the 3 teams last night won on the road. It's happening every night now, it seems like. So it's kind of leveled itself out, and the good teams are proving they can do it.
Water finds its level.
Yep.
Water finds its level. But, Penn State showing that they are for real, man. They have put themselves in a position to possibly win a Big Ten championship. We knew that they were going to be a tournament team. I thought that they were a tournament team. In no way did I think that they were a team of the caliber that could fight for a Big Ten title. But they are. Yeah,
no, you're right about that. I agree with you. And they've got a decent schedule to end the year. I mean, here'll be the payback game at the end of the season. Their second to last game, they've got Michigan State coming back there. I'll bet that game will have some Big Ten, top 3 seeding ramifications involved in it by the time it comes around, because there's plenty of games in between now and then, but Penn State getting that win last night definitely, put itself in a position to finish in that top tier of the Big Ten.
Yeah, I don't have the Big Ten standings pulled up in front of me, but I wonder what that.
So Maryland and Illinois are tied at the top at 8-3, and then Michigan State is still above Penn State because they've played one more game.
Half a game.
Yeah, Michigan State's 8-4, and Penn State's 7-4.
Now we have 5 teams within a half game of the lead for the Big Ten championship. And that magic number of 5 that you said, I don't know that that's going to stand.
I agree.
It probably will, maybe, but Illinois and Maryland both at 8-3 with 3 losses. The 3 teams after them all have 4 losses, so they're already right there. Man, what a season this is!
Think about this. This is a funny way to look at this. Maryland, who's sitting at the top right now, still has to play Michigan State twice. I mean, both of those teams can't win, so you got both of them up there right now.
Somebody's going
play
home.
Each other twice. You got to assume they're going to split those, I would guess.
Which is a wash.
So, I mean, yeah. And you've got, right now, Illinois sits there. They play – their next 2 games are Maryland and Michigan State. So
okay. You can hope for a split there.
Right. You're right. I mean, you've got – here's the real interesting part. Both of those games are at Illinois.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Friday night, Maryland goes to Illinois, and next Tuesday, Michigan State goes to Illinois.
That's an opportunity for Illinois to separate itself
separate itself from everybody else.
At the crucial time.
That's why I've been saying for a while, when you look at Maryland and Michigan State's remaining schedule, that's why I've been saying I think Illinois will win the Big Ten outright. Because it really boils down to these 2 games.
Say that
if
again.
They win these 2 games.
Stop yourself and say that again.
I know it. I mean,
what can you imagine in any what world could you imagine yourself having said that statement that you just said?
I would. Well, let me say this, because I don't want to act like I predicted this a long time ago. I didn't say this until after they played about 6 games into the Big Ten. But once you watch them play and the way that they're playing, they're a defensive-minded team that has a big guy and good guards, and they can score the ball. I mean, I don't know what more you can ask for. They're a very good team. They're coached pretty well. They play hard, and their game can transfer and go on the road. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but they're legit. And that schedule-wise, if they win these 2 games, I don't think there's any question they will win the Big Ten. But obviously, things can go haywire in a heartbeat around here.
Yeah, especially in this conference. But it's definitely an opportunity for them to finally do what no one else has done this season, and that's put some separation amongst themselves there. And Illinois has that opportunity. We'll see. Michigan State didn't help itself with that home loss.
No, it did. Penn State put itself in a position to finish above Michigan State with that single win last night. Now, they've got to go out and win the games they're supposed to win for the rest of the season. But they put themselves – I mean, they're at 7-4 right now. Michigan State's at 8-4. And I just mentioned Michigan State's still got to play Maryland twice and Illinois. So they're going to finish with a minimum of 6 and probably 7 or 8 losses.
Another game last night, Rutgers at Maryland. No surprise there. The home team wins. Maryland, of course, Rutgers, both 2 of the teams at the top of the upper top 6 standings. Low-scoring game, though, 56-51. Rutgers can't get the job done, but both those teams, they're in fine shape.
I lost you.
Okay.
I got you. You had just frozen. I know Rutgers. The problem with Rutgers, they're a good team and they play hard and they've got good players and they've bought into the system and all that. Their problem is going to be they just can't score the ball well enough to consistently win on the road and win big games. And somebody's going to go into their arena and steal some wins. That's kind of a stupid statement because
breaking up.
Yeah, I'm breaking up.
Yeah, but it's just it's one of those things. Rutgers has been horrible on the road. They're an anomaly. If you look at the Big Ten standings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're in 6th. That's 7-5, 16-7 overall. Very nice looking ledger. The teams ahead of them. Maryland is only 2-4 at home. 4-4. Illinois is 4-4. Michigan State's 3-3. Penn State's 4-3. Iowa's 3-3. Then you get to Rutgers. They're 1-5. They are horrible on the road. They're one of those good teams that's not getting one of those road wins. The next worst team on the road is Minnesota. You got to go down to Minnesota, who's 1-7. And then you go to Indiana, who's 1-5. So these teams, there's certain teams that you can see that are having virtually no success on the road. Indiana's win coming, of course, over Nebraska. Gosh knows, Michigan, I don't know where they got their road win. And I don't know where Minnesota got their road win. I think it was at Nebraska as well. But so those are teams that are just horrible on the road. They're basically not winning on the road. If you could only win at Nebraska, that's like not winning anywhere on the road. So you can see the difference.
Rutgers remaining home games, they've got Illinois that comes to their place. They got Michigan that comes to their place. They've got Maryland that comes to their place. Obviously Northwestern as well, but they expect to win that one. I mean, those other 3 games, probably going to lose 2 of those at home, would be my guess.
I don't know. I'll give them maybe 3 out of 4 because they're home, but I wouldn't be shocked if they went 2-2.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked either way, but they won't win all 3 of those, in my opinion. I don't think. But that's going to, that's going to put them down there at the, 12 loss range, 11, 12 loss. I mean, you think about this. How many, just say, I'm not going to tell you their schedule. I know you don't have it in front of you. How many losses? Michigan State right now is 8-4 in the Big Ten.
Right.
How many losses do you think they'll finish the Big Ten with? They have
Michigan
4
State,
losses right now. Michigan State.
I think they. I don't know their schedule, but I'm going to go with 2 more, maybe.
2 more losses.
Yeah.
Okay, and that would make sense. I mean, I would say that would seem to make sense. Listen to their games: at Michigan, at Illinois, Maryland at home, Iowa at home, at Maryland, at Penn State, and Ohio State at home. Now, do you still say 2?
Let me.
I'll bet they have 8 losses by the time the Big Ten's over.
All right, I think that I think they can win at Michigan.
They've already beat Michigan by 20 at home. I don't disagree with you.
I do not see them winning at Illinois.
Agree.
They win at home against Maryland. Maybe.
Most likely.
They'll beat Nebraska on the road. They beat Iowa. I'll give them a home win against Iowa, although I can see them not winning that game.
Right.
And I can see them losing at Maryland. I can see them losing at Penn State.
Yeah.
And they beat Ohio State at the end.
Yeah. So that's 7 losses for them right there. I mean,
there you go.
We're talking about has a chance to win the Big Ten.
This is a team that was number 1 in the country, folks. Number 1 in the country they were at one time. And it's not that they're not good. We've talked about this yesterday. The loss of Langford and Hauser not being eligible. Yeah, makes a huge difference. Difference. What was that, Jake?
I said Doogie Howser.
Doogie Howser, yeah. But yeah, it's that's how crazy. That's how crazy these stupid standings are.
I felt like I went out on a limb early in the year and said the winner of the Big Ten would have 5 losses, and I'm really mad that I didn't go farther out on that limb and say they're going to have 6 losses.
I think Illinois can get through with 2 more losses. I mean, somebody's going to surprise us. Somebody's going to step up because that's what happens. The only reason it doesn't happen this year is because of the crazy season that they usually steps up, gets on a roll, and just starts playing better basketball because it's the end of the season, and that's when a good team emerges. So I'm thinking a good team or 2 is going to emerge, and Maryland and Illinois have both looked like really good candidates for that, Illinois especially, but we'll see. Who knows? It could be Michigan State that turns it around. Gosh knows.
I think Illinois just sits in the best position with that. I mean, so play the same game with Maryland right now. Maryland has 3 losses right now. And their next game is at Illinois. Probably a loss. Then they have Nebraska. That's probably a win. Then they're at Michigan State. You've already said that's a loss because you gave Michigan State the win. So that's 2 more losses. Then the Northwestern at home is probably a win. At Ohio State, at Minnesota. Would you say they split those or win them both?
Split.
Yeah, so that's 3 losses. Then they've got Michigan State at home. You already gave them the win on that one. Then they've got at Rutgers and Michigan at home. Do they win both of those? You think they win at Rutgers?
No.
So that's
I don't know. Maybe somebody does.
So at a minimum, it's 3 more losses. So that's 6 losses for Maryland. Possibly 7 if you say they're going to lose that Rutgers game.
I say Illinois ends up with 5 losses.
I agree with you. I think Illinois ends up with 5. That's why I say I think they're going to win the Big Ten by 2 games, and I think they're going to have 5 losses, and they're going to win it by 2 games.
But, if you look at the standings right now, as bad a season as Ohio State has had, and they have been on a bad deal, they're sitting 3 spots ahead of Indiana. They've won 3 games in a row, while Indiana has lost 3 in a row. Their records are now almost identical.
The records are completely identical,
with the exception of Ohio State having a better home or a better record on the road, having more success on the road. But other than that, and I say that only because you think of Ohio State, and I'm thinking how crappy of the season they've had. Well, they're right there with Indiana. It's amazing. So it's your perception can really be skewed.
They got off to such a great start. They've had a really bad month and a half.
Right. Well, but my entire point is how your perception can be skewed on a team when in actuality they may be the exact same as someone that you see differently.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you. I mean, their expectation and ceiling went way up when they started the season out so well and played so good at the beginning of the year. But looking at their schedule, they actually have. They don't have a terrible schedule.
Hey, and they got getting a win over your arch rival at their place when you need a win. That's a big win for Ohio State.
Here's going to be
Indiana winning. That's Indiana winning at Purdue when they really need a win, and Purdue is good.
Right. No, I agree with you. But Ohio State's year finishes. Here's their last two games: Illinois at home and at Michigan State. I mean, that's a toughie.
Yeah,
that's a tough way to end the year.
It is.
So
man.
I mean, they're probably going to go into the Big Ten tournament with 2 losses on a 2-game losing streak.
But there's unfortunately in the Big Ten Conference, there's no easy way to end the year this year.
I know. I think Indiana has the best finishing schedule. I mean, Indiana ends the year with Minnesota at home and Wisconsin at home.
We'll see. We've got lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary. Joining us in the next hour, Matt Weaver from Peaks.com. It's college football signing day. We're going to get turn our attention to that. Coming back for all that and more at the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios right after this.
So baby, let's sell your diamond ring, buy some boots and faded jeans and go away.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs, Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is A.J. Moyer.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Bad theater seats, cheap Halloween masks, my apartment, all things with obstructed views. Add to these large trucks and buses. 18-wheelers and large buses have big blind spots, and like my apartment, they don't always have the best view. Bus and truck drivers deal with blind spots around the entire vehicle. Always take care not to ride alongside or too close behind them. Our roads, our safety. Learn more at sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Hey, it's Michael Lewis, former Indiana University player and current UCLA assistant basketball coach, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat.
Today marks one of the most difficult decisions that I've ever made here at Michigan State. First, I'd like to thank our fans, alumni, our administration, both past and present, and especially our current past players and coaches for all their support, hard work, and dedication over these last 13 years. You have truly helped make my dreams come true. I mean that in every sense of the word. Every February since 2007, I have reset this program in preparation for the next year's challenges. After much reflection, discussion, and prayer with my family, I feel that now is the time for change as we enter into a new decade of Michigan State football.
That's Mark D'Antonio talking about sailing off into the sunset as we're joined here on this Wednesday, Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Larry by our good friend Matt Weaver from Peaks.com. Matthew, how are you, man? Oh, he's not on yet. That's right. All right.
I can throw voices, but I don't know if I can imitate him without any practice.
I thought we were the wrong segment, man. I thought we were in the next segment already. So he'll join us next. So no, that's not what I was thinking.
But that gives me a great opportunity to talk about that terrible speech that was prepared right there, because when he's reading it, we've heard so many of those throughout the years that when a guy reads one like that, and I didn't see the press conference, I don't know if he's looking down at a piece of paper or what he's doing, but you can obviously tell that is written out and rehearsed. I can just envision him sitting at the kitchen table with his wife writing that thing. I mean, it's not from the heart. It's not. Maybe he just didn't want to lay an egg up there, but that was a terrible speech.
Let me say in no uncertain terms, I think that Mark D'Antonio is a dick. I mean, he is. I think he's a dirtbag as a coach.
You realize by that language you're using, you're opening the floodgates for Todd Leary to use his Bob Knight vocabulary.
I'm saying I understand, but he's one of those people that I have no respect for. I think that he doesn't do things respectfully, and I've just seen too many occasions where he had players do things and there was no punishment. And it was more about the game. I'm just going
to say you know more about that than I do, because I don't know hardly anything about him.
Yeah, I just saw too many instances. I saw too many players, Michigan State plays. I've seen Michigan State players punching IU players in the throat at the bottom of piles, which is really old school cheap playing, and just all kinds. There's just all kinds of stuff that goes into it. It's not one thing, and I don't think that's it's not a minority opinion, but regardless, he's gone. And so the next big thing is who's going to take his place, man.
But that's think about this job. Think about this, though. Like if that is your opinion of him at Michigan State, then truly Tom Izzo is the only thing in the only thread holding together probably one of the most corrupt, disgusting programs in the entire country.
Yeah, I mean,
wouldn't you agree? I mean,
absolutely.
Tom Izzo's the only positive thing that we've ever heard out of Michigan State,
and they've had their issues that came to light afterwards. Which I don't want to talk about it or get into all that. But so it's not. Yeah, it's a whoo. They're teetering. You're right. They're teetering on a thread, man.
And it's Tom Izzo holding it all together, because he has that much credibility. And I believe, like I have met Tom Izzo several times. I have spent a decent amount, not a lot of time with him, but I've had several conversations with him, and he's as good a person. I know why he's a great recruiter, because he's just a good person and fun person to be around, and he seems genuine. And I know Dane Fife can't talk any more highly about him than he does. So I mean, all of that is just incredible. But he's the only ounce of decency that entire athletic department has had any publicity about in the last 10 years.
And unless you've been under a rock, you know that we're alluding to the gymnastics scandal, the Nacer scandal that took place up there.
Ridiculous
and horrible.
Stuff, yeah.
But there were other things that came out up there as well. But yeah, that's kind of why my opinion of D'Antonio is what it is, because there are not things like that, but there were other things that I just don't see Yeah, it doesn't matter. But I look forward to talking to Matt about it just a little bit when he gets on. We're not going to talk much about it because this is not a Michigan State show. But that's a pretty big event when you have a Big Ten coach of his stature leaving, because that's a big hole. That's a plum job, man. So who's the next guy? What coach is going to come in there? Because
you want my answer?
Yes.
You want to know who messed up? Kalen DeBoer.
You think?
I do. I think Michigan State probably will have a national search and get it. I don't know. I guess I'm not schooled enough in. If this was a basketball deal, like when Thad Matta left at such a weird time for Ohio State, I knew how weird that was. I knew what the ramifications that would have on the team. In football, I'm not sure. Like, this seems like he just said in his speech, every February he resets the whole program, to prepare for the next season. Well, it's February, and he just walked away from the program, and they don't have a head coach. So, in my opinion,
and it's National Signing Day.
He either chose to screw them over completely right now, or the school was in such a dire, desperate situation to get rid of him. They just said, screw it, we'll deal with it. Let's get rid of him now anyway.
I can't wait to talk to Matt and ask him about the fact that this is college football signing day. What does that do? Does this blow their class up? Because every kid...
Would you go there? If you were committed to go there right now, would you sign today? I would.
It's really would depend on what my situation was, if I was going to Michigan State or if I was going to play for D'Antonio. If you're going to play for D'Antonio, no, you're not going to go there. But some kids maybe are going to Michigan State. It's like Indiana basketball. Indiana lands a lot of these recruits. They're coming to play for Indiana. Not before, I think that was different. But now I'm not sure that they're coming to play. I think they may be coming to play more for Indiana right now.
For sure. From my perspective on that, almost everybody in my era. I mean, you were coming to play for Bob Knight, and it was the whole thing in general. I mean, Bob Knight always said we don't have our names on our jerseys because we're Indiana University, and he made it about the whole university. So, I mean, that was the thing. But if the day I was getting ready to sign my letter of intent, Bob Knight resigned, I wouldn't sign that letter of intent. Now, Indiana I've always been an Indiana fan, no matter what. Now, it just happens to be since I've been alive, Bob Knight's always been the coach. So that's why I grew up an Indiana fan, and he was Indiana University to me. So, but if the coach walked away, that's I said this on the show yesterday when we were talking about the transfer rule in the Big Ten, proposing that. Like, if a coach leaves a program, I don't care if you've transferred every year so far. If a coaching staff leaves the program, I think that every kid on the entire roster should have an opportunity to transfer without penalty.
I think that pretty much is the case now. I don't think that that's a problem. I think that they are allowed to do that. I don't know that there's been a case where they've stopped one, but we in talking about that transfer rule that we talked about yesterday, and I think people need to remember that you could already transfer in every sport in NCAA except for 5. You can transfer at any time, one time. You have a one-time no clause transfer where you can do that. Now, I don't know. I wonder if, and I would understand and agree with if they didn't, but I wonder if, say, you're playing for Indiana, if you can transfer to Purdue or vice versa, if this rule goes into place. I would not want, if I was the coach, I would want something put in place that within you cannot transfer within the conference. Or at least you have to sit out a year if you do that. Other than that, you can go wherever the hell you want. I don't care. But I would completely understand of any coach, it doesn't matter who it is, not wanting one of their players to be playing against them. Because, hell, if that's the case, you could do that in mid-semester, Todd. You could transfer from Purdue to Indiana at mid-semester, and then in January, you could be playing against Indiana or vice versa. That would be absolutely crazy.
I'm sure the rule will have some restrictions on it from the standpoint of timing wise. But yeah, I mean, if it's the way that we're reading it, which it can't be, I don't think. But I mean, you could have a kid that plays the first half of the year for a certain school, and then all of a sudden, like right now, Illinois is having a great season, and Illinois could have a kid from Iowa transfer there, and they could all of a sudden now have a shooter. I mean, it'd be like it happens at, the trading deadline in the NBA and in Major League Baseball and stuff like that. Like, you'd have guys leaving in their senior year to go play for a school that was going to have a chance to play in the NCAA tournament, that maybe your school wasn't. Use example right now. Let's say Illinois is coming down to the end of the season, and the kid, I can't remember his first name, but the kid that's Kopp from KOPP from Northwestern, the really good shooter. What if all of a sudden he just decides to transfer to Illinois because he knows his team's not going to make the NCAA tournament? Would that be allowed? Is that possible?
But you got to now see, they have to have a spot open. The Indiana does.
Yeah, but if something like that was the case, every team would always leave a spot open. You know what I mean? Like, heck, you'd boot somebody off the team if you had to.
Maybe.
I don't know. We're making up scenarios that
it's very possible.
are not in play yet, but that's why I don't think that transfer. I didn't like the proposal. I mean, and I'm all for.
Well,
kids.
it's coming. I can promise you, it's coming.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
But part of it is because the name likeness issues, all that, the not getting paid issues, because that is become such a big thing that they're trying to mitigate it. I think they're trying to mitigate whatever they can at the moment to mitigate that until they can get to where they need to get to. But because not only are they not getting paid, but then they can't transfer. You can't do this. It's like you can't do it. It's like we can't do anything. So they've got to start loosening up some of these things. And I understand. I mean, especially when you have it in all the other sports already. Well, you might as well go across the board, because especially when there's just there's no consistency. I mean, you got guys on the same team. The Hauser brothers, were both of them ruled ineligible?
Yeah, I think they were.
Okay, because that would have been the ultimate slap in the face.
Right.
But there's no explanation. That's the thing. And none of it makes sense. So, but we're used to that with NCAA.
I think they were both, ruled ineligible. But on the flip side of it, there are plenty of other guys that we've seen transfer that last year played for one school and this year are playing for another school. And it just doesn't seem to make any sense. Like, I don't understand it. It's that gray area we talked about yesterday. I mean, the NCAA has too much gray area. The IHSAA has too much gray area. It becomes unfair.
Northwestern and Nebraska have lost a combined 13 games in a row.
Yeah, that's not good.
Rough season for Fred Hoiberg, but I think that he can see light at the end of his tunnel.
Well, yeah. I mean, we say it all the time about, hey, we hear people say it. We don't say it that much, but we hear people say, well, when he gets his guys in there, they'll play different and all that. This is even way different than that. I mean, Fred Hoiberg is a first-year coach. 14 out of 15 players on his roster are brand new to Nebraska's program. So they threw together a roster of grad transfers and freshmen and tryouts and all kinds of stuff and recruits that hadn't signed yet in a month. A 14, 15-man roster in a month. And so, what they've done to win any games is pretty crazy. I mean, you saw it. They were predicted to go 0-20 in the Big Ten. So, the fact that they've won 2 games already isn't bad. They're 7-15 overall on the year. I mean, I would say they're probably ahead of expectations. Northwestern, on the other hand, I don't think so. I mean, I think Chris Collins is probably, I would say this is probably his last year. Wouldn't you guess? I mean, there's no way they can.
Yeah, I think that
it's just not working.
If this was anywhere else, it would definitely be his last year. With it being Northwestern, I don't know. But if it was anywhere else, absolutely. So I probably a 50-50 shot of that. But tonight, Todd, a big game too. I mean, I know it's these are bottom dwellers, but Wisconsin and Minnesota, that's a big game because Minnesota, believe it or not, they're still fighting to get. They're in the bottom 4 right now. They're at the top of the bottom 4, but they're 5-6. You know who else is 5-6? Purdue, Indiana, Ohio State, all 5-6 in the conference. Minnesota just doesn't have quite the record that they're only 1 game less than Purdue, so they're still fighting down there. So they need this game, and they're at home. But then you got Wisconsin, who is also at 6-5, and they're 13-9. So they don't have a lot of room for margin either. So they need this game.
Yeah, well, I mean, so think about this. I mean, right now the projections at this point in time have 10 teams from the Big Ten in the NCAA tournament. We had Clark Kellogg on last Friday, and Clark said it was kind of surprising to me that he said, without any hesitation, the Big Ten will not get 10 teams in.
Yeah, I don't see that. I see 9.
He said 8, and even if it's 8 or 9, I mean, you name. Let's say it's 9. Let's split the difference here and say 9. You name the 5 teams that are not going to make it. Obviously, Nebraska and Northwestern are the 2. Then after that,
Michigan,
now, the way
Minnesota,
Michigan, Minnesota, and Purdue.
Yep, that's exactly.
I can make an argument that Purdue could very easily play themselves into the tournament.
Oh,
I can make an
absolutely.
argument,
That's Minnesota. That's the whole point of this Wisconsin game.
I can make an argument that Minnesota is going to play their way into the tournament. Michigan is still very easily has a chance to play their way into the tournament. And Indiana or the Big Ten's not going to get 11 or 12 teams in. So every time you put one of those teams in, you're going to be knocking out an Indiana or an Ohio State or a Wisconsin or a Rutgers.
Yep, I agree with you.
I mean, it's crazy. Like this year, we say it every year. I know I can remember last year thinking we say every year how crazy it is.
Yep,
but this year is truly crazy.
Yeah, you ain't lying. I say Purdue does not make it, and I say Michigan does not make it. But we will have to see because
in today's world, right now, I agree with you. But 2 weeks from now,
that can change easily.
We may say Minnesota, no way they make it, and Michigan for sure is in. Like Michigan's definitely out right now.
Hey, when we come back, we got Matt Weaver from Peaks.com joining us. We're going to talk about college football's National Signing Day. And we'll talk a little bit about Mark D'Antonio as well. But stay tuned. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary coming to you here on this Wednesday from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Back right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dawkins.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Bad theater seats, cheap Halloween masks, my apartment, all things with obstructed views. Add to these large trucks and buses. 18-wheelers and large buses have big blind spots, and like my apartment, they don't always have the best view. Bus and truck drivers deal with blind spots around the entire vehicle. Always take care not to ride alongside or too close behind them. Our roads, our safety. Learn more at sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Hi, this is AJ Moye, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat here on this Wednesday, February 5. Listening to Coyle and Larry from the Golf Club League Point Studios. Hope you're having a good day. Joined now by our good friend Matt Weaver from Peaks.com. Matthew, how's it going, man?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys?
Cannot complain. It is a big day for you, college football signing day. A big day for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's this day used to be obviously the big day in college football recruiting because when there was only one signing day. Now with the December one, this one's slows down quite a bit. Most schools have the majority of their class already kind of locked in and signed by this one, but there's still some guys out there, obviously, and Indiana's announced one signing this morning, Jalen Mayala from down at Archer High School in Lawrenceville, Georgia, defensive end, and it looks like they got a good shot to add maybe at least one more. So, and Khalil Benson, the offensive lineman from South Haven, Mississippi, just basically just outside of Memphis, across the state line. So, it would be if they're able to add Benson along with Mayala, it'd be a pretty good day for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, they had a shot at Sidney Williams, but Florida State kind of came in there. Florida State came in late. Is that somebody they're probably going to lose?
Yeah, I'm hearing that he's probably going to sign with FSU, and it's a bummer. I mean, Indiana. He was a guy they actually been recruiting for a while. They recruited him way back in the spring, but then it looked like he was going to go to like an Auburn or an LSU, and Indiana. Just like you do a lot of times when you kind of get the sense that it's going to be a lost cause, started focusing on other guys and other safeties, and then he just kind of was still available. He got hurt his senior year after like 3 games, and some schools kind of cooled on him, and they got back in on him. Kane Womack was recruits. He was at South Alabama, which is obviously down there in Mobile, so he knows the area well, and he was one of the main recruiters. So, but FSU, it's just obviously you can drive to Tallahassee from Mobile, not that far, and Mobile to Bloomington. Obviously, you're talking about it's more of a flight, so. The proximity to home was a big advantage. And then obviously Florida State, even though they've been down a little bit, still a major name in college football. So, they battled to the end. They made a great impression on them. And, while it stinks to finish second and there's no trophies for runner up or anything like that, it still shows how well this staff can recruit and how they can go up against the big boys.
Yeah, and some breaking news, I guess. Mark Hagan leaving the staff to go to Texas.
Yeah, and if for people who might not know, I know some people might be surprised by this. Me personally, Coach Hagan and I we've been good friends for a long time. When he came back, he went down to Texas A&M. He's got four daughters. He went down to Texas A&M and was down there for a few years. When he came back in 2016, his wife and his daughters actually stayed down at College Station because his daughters, where they were at in school, they didn't want to pull him out, and it's been rough. The last few years, he's basically tried to see him here and there, but there's been stretches of time where he doesn't get to see his wife and kids for a while, and it's been hard on him. I mean, as his friend, we had a few conversations about it. So while I'm bummed to see him go, I think it's an absolutely the right move for him because at the end of the day, your family is the most important thing, and Austin to College Station is less than 2 hours. He'll be a lot closer. He'll be able to see him regularly. They'll be able to see him regularly. It'll be a much better deal. And like I said, it's a bummer, but if it wasn't for the family deal, Mark Hagan wouldn't be leaving this staff. There's no kind of issues or anything like that. This is 100% him making a decision that's best for him and his family just because it's been so rough the last few years on him.
Yeah, that's definitely a blow to Tom Allen and his staff. I mean, he brought a lot to that staff. He brought a lot of Indiana connection. He just brought a lot of excitement and talent at his position. At what he did. I mean, he did a good job. And obviously, if Texas wants you, you're doing good. You're doing well. But and that's going to happen with staffs. But there's been a lot of turnover with this staff and with the especially the offensive coordinator just happening. And so those play a big role in how your seasons go.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, but it's just, if you look at it, it's the nature of college football anymore. I mean, it's a really, there's a lot of turnover across football. I mean, look at, Alabama for the last, basically since Nick Saban's been there, has been, arguably the best program in college football. And there's 2 or 3 years in a row where his not his entire staff, but a number of them turned over. It's the nature of the business. That's why I think Coach Allen made a comment that when he talks to recruits, he tells them you should commit to the head coach and not so much the position coach. And he's right, because position coaches come and go. It's rare, you have a school like Iowa where guys are there for years and years. That's really, really rare. It just doesn't happen very often at most places. And these are ambitious guys. And now in this case, this really has, like I said, nothing to do with ambition or not wanting to be at Indiana or any kind of issues like that. This is just sometimes it's things outside of football. This is one of those cases where it really has nothing to do with football or money or anything like that. It's all about just wanting to get back closer to his wife and kids. And like I said, I don't blame him a bit. If it was me, I don't think I could have done it and been away from my family for 2 or 3 years, however long it was, like he did. He's a lot braver guy than I am, and I hope it works out for him down there, and I wish him the best.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You want everybody to be happy, and sometimes certain situations dictate how things go. And but to be interesting to see who they can bring in now this time, but the success that Indiana has had, hopefully, and with the new contract that Tom Allen has, this should afford Coach Allen to bring in a higher quality coach than he would have been able to do maybe 4 years ago.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And there's I'm sure there's still some. He's got obviously a ton of contacts, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Coach Womack, I'm sure also has contacts. So, I have no doubt I've already started to talk to people or gauge interest out there. And this is actually not the worst time to be making. I mean, there's never really a great time to, be looking for a coach, just because college football anymore is 365, 24/7 type of deal. But, right after this signing period, and it's a dead time, in recruiting, it's a dead period, so you can't go out on the road. And spring ball's still probably about a month away. So this isn't the absolute worst time to be looking for. It's actually probably the best time of the year, to have to try to find a coach. So, the timing, as far as that goes, is not too bad. So I'm sure he'll find a good guy. I mean, obviously, he brought in Kevin Wright and Jason Jones, two really impressive hires. He's done a good job of identifying coaches and getting guys. And I don't think there'll be any shortage of guys that want to come work at Indiana with, the way the program's headed and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see who they get. Usually he tries to go for guys he's got some kind of connection to. So we'll see if that happens this time around.
Absolutely. Talk about I know this recruiting class is dictated by just the availability of scholarships, which was not a lot. So not going to be huge, and not one that you're going to see probably the big bump out of the season and the bowl win. That's probably going to come next year when they have a larger class, and they can build even more success on that. But what are you thinking this class is going to look like?
Yeah, I agree. And I think they've, offensive line was a huge priority, and you see it. They signed 6 in December. They're adding another one today, and I wouldn't be shocked if they tried to get Devery Hamilton, the Stanford grad transfer. He ended up committed to Duke this week. As down to Indiana, Duke, and Pittsburgh, and can't blame the kid. Duke's obviously a great academic school, and my old friend Greg Fry's the O-line coach there, got hired there last month, so he'll be coached by a good one. But I wouldn't be shocked to see them try to maybe see if they can add an older lineman if there's a grad transfer out there that's available. Or, JUCOs at this point, it's probably slim pickings, because if you're a JUCO that's available at this time, you probably there's some kind of issue, most likely academically. But it's not out of the question. I would be more surprised to see that. But I think they might try to add somebody else like that. There's still 2 open spots on the roster. So, if there's a guy that slips through the cracks, Sidney Williams was not a need, but he was so good, you just couldn't pass on him. They didn't need another safety, but this is just a guy you couldn't pass on. So if there's somebody out there like that who's, kind of slips through the cracks, maybe he's a late qualifier academically, maybe you look at him. But, the next year's class, as I talked about, it's going to be a smaller one. And the 2021 class in Indiana is pretty strong. So if you can have an extra scholarship or 2 for that class, maybe give it to one of these to a walk-on this year, and then it goes to a recruit next year. That's not a bad deal. Especially I think this is where you'll start seeing the success on the field start to pay off in recruiting.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking forward to seeing what they can do because Tom Allen has done a great job just being a solo recruiter without the benefit of that. And now you give this to him in addition to that. And it's going to be exciting to see what they can get done. And then, of course, he's added to the staff with, oh my gosh, Kevin, from IMG. I'm drawing a blank on his name, the new coaching hire. Kevin Wright, who is also obviously going to have some great recruiting connections as well. So the future should be nothing but bright for Indiana football from a recruiting standpoint.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. This is going to be. I think this is a really good recruiting staff. Now, obviously, we talk about Coach Hagan. He's a very good recruiter. But there's a lot of good recruiters out there. I mean, I don't. It's a tough blow. Losing Kalen DeBoer is a tough blow, but there's good coaches. It's not like there's just one or two and, you can't get them. There's a lot of good coaches, and I have no doubt that they'll be able to replace him with a quality guy and another good recruiter. But, I think I said it before. I think adding Kevin Wright and Jason Jones to this staff, and I thought William Minge did a good job, and Kalen DeBoer, we only had him for a year, so it was kind of tough to get a beat on his recruiting. But I don't think at worst, it was an even trade as far as recruiting, and in my opinion, I think it might have been an upgrade. And like I said, nothing against those two guys. I just think Kevin Wright and Jason Jones, their connections, where they've coached and where they've been, really open some doors and gives Indiana a chance to even get more of a foothold down in Florida, where they've been recruiting obviously heavily since Coach Allen came in.
Absolutely. Well, Matt, I appreciate you joining us as always, man. We look forward to seeing how it shakes out at the end of the day, and we'll talk about it next week.
Okay, thanks, guys. Have a good week.
You betcha. There's Matt Weaver from Peaks.com joining us, getting us up to date on college football signing day. We'll get back with plenty more. We've got some basketball to talk about, and we'll close out the show picking see who's going to win tonight. Coming back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, Indiana Sports Beat, Coy O'Leary, right after this.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Bad theater seats, cheap Halloween masks, my apartment. all things with obstructed views. Add to these large trucks and buses. 18-wheelers and large buses have big blind spots, and like my apartment, they don't always have the best view. Bus and truck drivers deal with blind spots around the entire vehicle. Always take care not to ride alongside or too close behind them. Our roads, our safety. Learn more at sharetheroadsafely.gov.
This is former Indiana basketball player Greg Green. Keep up with the Hoosiers on Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Coyle Leary here on this Hump Day edition, Wednesday, February 5. We're at the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, of course, as always. A little week off for the Hoosiers on the basketball side for the men. They have Purdue on Saturday and then off again until the following Thursday to where Iowa will come visit. Purdue is hosting Iowa tonight in a Big Ten game that is going to be very interesting. Todd, that matchup, Purdue, that's a weird match. Iowa, to me, obviously the better team, but means they have better personnel. They don't have anybody that's going to stop Luka. Like most teams, they don't have anybody that's going to stop Luka Garza.
Yeah, I mean, the hard part in stopping Luka Garza is the fact that he can step out and make shots from the three-point line, as well as he has the best moves, for an interior player of anyone in the Big Ten. Now, Purdue's got two kind of unique big guys themselves. I mean, Harms is a 7'2", big guy that he's kind of weird. You don't generally, Luka Garza hasn't played against too many 7'2" guys. So, that'll be a little bit unique. But Harms can't step out and guard him at the three-point line. And then you've got Travion Williams, who in the lane, he's definitely as big and can battle and thick with Luka Garza inside. And so, that from that aspect, he can bang in there. But, Luka Garza, he's just a tough matchup no matter what. That's why we talked about yesterday. He's probably the toughest guy to defend in the entire country, not just the Big Ten. But, then you add with that the fact that they've got two other guys on the floor at all times that can shoot the ball like crazy from the three-point line in Iowa. So that's what makes them so difficult to defend. Now, overall, when they don't shoot the ball very well, they're not that great. Like they don't just pound it inside to Luka Garza the whole time. It would not shock me for Purdue to win this game. Purdue is not a bad team. They're a lot like Indiana in the fact that they struggle to score the basketball. And when they go on those long droughts, like we see Indiana do all the time, that's when they fall behind and they if they've got a lead, they give it up, or if they're, they don't come back from behind very often. They did against Northwestern, and that was their last ball game. So that may give them the confidence to kind of offensively propel themselves forward. And everybody knows, I know Tim hates me saying this, but everybody knows in the Big Ten how difficult it is to go into Mackey Arena and win. And it won't shock me at all for Purdue to knock Iowa off.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't shock me either, just because of what we've seen this year for most case. Although, like we've talked about earlier, it's really leveled itself out. But still, even though it's leveled itself out, it doesn't mean it's any less difficult to get done. Teams are just finding ways to get it done now. They're adjusting better as we've gotten further into the season. Where obviously, like in any sport, those adjustments are more difficult on the onset. But, man, when you're playing at home and you have your crowd behind you and your environment, it's just easier, period. And in a case like this, you need all the help you can get. And if you're on the other end of that, you're not getting that help.
Yeah, and Purdue has a good roster. They've got good players on their roster. They just, they've had guys that have not played up to, I think, the level of expectation that they had. Aaron Wheeler is a great example for them of a guy who I think they expected this to be kind of a breakout year for him from a scoring standpoint and being able to shoot the ball. And, heck, they've even had trouble keeping him on the floor because he's shot the ball so poorly. This is a guy who I think they were probably expecting at least double-digit scoring out of, and he's averaging 3.6 points a game. But on the flip side, Sasha Stefanovic, I mean, that guy has probably exceeded expectations a little bit, especially to start the year. And they just, Purdue's a team that you said it a minute ago, and we talked about it earlier. Like the good teams are going on the road now and winning. The difference is, the difference between Iowa and Purdue, it's not that big. I mean, it's not like Iowa is a way better team and it's just that difficult to win on the road. The teams are not that much different. And Indiana and Purdue, when they play each other next week, even though it'll be at Assembly Hall, the players on the floor are not that much different. Now, hopefully Assembly Hall gives Indiana the advantage Saturday, but right now, I mean, that's the same situation I think Purdue's saying tonight. Iowa and Purdue are not that much different. Hopefully, for them, Mackey Arena is the difference for them. And they've played a lot better at home. Actually, they've shot the ball a lot better at home. So that would hope to keep them in it from their perspective. But, this is just a crazy. I mean, look at the other game tonight. I mean, we talked earlier about teams we think are in and out of making the tournament right now in the Big Ten. I mean, right now, if you had to pick right now, Wisconsin at Minnesota tonight, who would you say wins that game?
I'm still taking the home team.
Right. Agree with you. I'm taking Minnesota. And we're saying Minnesota is almost, 90% sure out of the tournament. And we're picking them to win tonight against Wisconsin, who's a team that's probably played their way into the tournament just as of recently. So it's a guessing game right now. I mean, whichever team gets hot, we haven't seen anybody go crazy other than maybe Illinois. I think Illinois has probably solidified themselves as the best team. But I don't think anyone else has gone crazy and played really, really well where you're like, yeah, even though they're where they're at right now, like Ohio State, even though they're where they're at right now, they're playing really well and they're going to play their way back into the NCAA tournament. I don't think we feel that way about anybody other than Illinois.
Yeah, I think you're right. Before we get too far along, man, I was surprised to see that about Coach Mark Hagan going to Texas off the IU football staff. Didn't talk a lot about that with you.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those it's a tough blow for the program because it's not program related. Like he's making a personal decision that is best for his family, and you know what? That is the smart decision for him to make.
Absolutely.
And I mean, you don't want to fight that battle going home every day. So
well, it's not fun. I mean, I understand sure. He's missing his kids, and I mean, it's enough of a sacrifice when you're with when they live together. So, can you imagine when you don't live together? Yeah, right. It's too much. It's
not because the season's over. Like they've got free time. I mean, they're recruiting like heck right now and traveling all over the country and doing different things. And so it's not like just because the season's over, heck, he could spend, the next 5 or 6 months in Texas with them. It just doesn't work that way. It's not that kind of job. And so,
well, even when he's home, he's not home because they're not here. So yeah, absolutely. So I'm very, very, very happy. What a great guy. He's a former IU player. I mean, so this guy, he's an IU guy. So he's not doing this for personal gain. He's not leaving the program in the lurch. He has done great, great things here, and he's going to be hard to replace. It's really hard to replace a guy who went to school, who does a great job, and who went to school there. I mean, because they have that extra something that not everybody has. But just couldn't be happier for him and his family. Glad to see the things like that work out.
Yep, you're right about that, and that's why I said it's a blow to the program because there's not really anything the program could have done to prevent it from happening. I think they've probably done everything they could up to this point to prevent, to make it as easy as possible on him. But it's just a life situation, and they're built to deal with these. That's what the coaches are paid big money to do. They're built to deal with these situations, and I'm sure there's a backup roster for coaches, that Tom Allen has in his pocket that they've discussed a bunch, and they'll be on that search right away, and I'm sure they'll fill that real quickly.
Yeah, and he's got more money to do it. Like I talked about with Matt, he's got more resources now than he did a few years ago. So he has an opportunity to hire a better coach because you have more money, and it's just that simple. I mean, it's like going to the store. If you can pay more money for something, you can get something that's just better.
Right. The way you said it to Matt Weaver and the way you're saying it right there, I know how you're intending it. It's almost sounding like they can hire a better coach than what they had. And I know that's not
better than what they could have before
Right. 3 years ago, even, they didn't have the money to go get a quality coach to replace somebody that would have left. And now, fortunately, Fred Glass has put Tom Allen in a position to be able to do that. So it's not – I know what you're saying. It just was sounding like we could replace him with a better coach, and it's just – that's not what we meant.
Exactly. No, they're losing they're a really good coach. They're losing.
For sure.
He's going to be hard to replace. I mean,
no doubt.
Like I said, he not only was a good coach, he was from IU. So man, that's a great combination. But it is what it is. But we're looking forward to seeing what they can get done with that. But and then tonight, just those two games, man. Iowa at Purdue and Whiskey at Minnesota. But those both should be all the games now. Todd, it's funny. Sports are funny. The NBA, it's funny. The NFL, the playoff games. Why is it that they are all so close? Well, of course, first of all, you've got the best teams playing, but it's amazing how those games are always so freaking close.
Yeah, it is. It just makes it. It's one of the great things of sport. Not to get too deep on all this, but one of the great things of sport is as an individual player, to be able to pull things out of yourself that you didn't even really know you could accomplish. And that's what great coaches do for players. And, that's what great trainers and guys are able to do to get you in shape to where you make plays. And it's funny because sometimes you'll make plays that even surprise yourself. And that's kind of the fun part of sports and playing so hard and why you work so hard every day and all the stuff that you do. And then when you get to a situation where a coach can get a team playing well together, and you could accomplish things that you weren't sure you could do. I mean, we had great examples back playing against the Fab Five. I mean, you look at our roster versus the Fab Five, and physically, talent-wise, we don't even come close to comparing. But we were able to beat them because and Coach Knight taught us how to do things we didn't even know we could do. And that's what makes sports so great. And so when you get to, right now we're in conference play, which is kind of leads up to the Big Ten, the conference tournament games. And then that leads to the NCAA tournament. And it's just such a great buildup. And that's why we love it, because these games just get better and better all year long. You said it with Watford, earlier in the show that, these games, the incredible part about this year is we were getting games that we usually don't get until, the conference tournament season. We were getting those in November already, and they were just incredible battles. So it's a full 3 to 4 months worth of great basketball games, and it's all squeezed into a season that I think we'll all talk about and think about for a long time.
Yeah, and at the end of usually at the end of an NCAA men's basketball tournament, it's like, whew, I need people fanning me. I need a week's vacation. I need like a massage. It's like you got to go through this battle, and golly, I can't even fathom what that's going to be like with what this season has been like, and then to add that to this. It could be just one of the greatest sports spectacles ever. And I'm all about it. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
I can't even – you couldn't sit here and make predictions right now. They're guesses. A lot of times, you think they're educated guesses or you're predicting based on how teams are playing. Man, you can't right now. They're guesses. I don't even care if it's Clark Kellogg or you and me or who it is. Like, you're truly guessing what a team's going to do. Like Wisconsin at Minnesota tonight, we're kind of guessing. We're flipping a coin on it because we don't know. Wisconsin's got some great road wins. Minnesota's still a really good team with one of the best big guys in the league. How can you predict these things? And you could go down. We just use Big Ten examples. You could go down. Butler plays at home tonight against Villanova. Butler really needs a win. Villanova really needs a win. Both of those teams really need them, and they're both ranked teams. They're both really good. But it's a coin toss. We wouldn't say Villanova's going to go into Butler and for sure win tonight. It's just nuts. So.
One of the funniest things I ever did in my life, a buddy of mine, that he just moved back to Auburn, but one year he had some comp rooms in Vegas, and he was going to go during the NCAA tournament. And so he invited me out. So I got to go out. I think it was the first round weekend, I think. Anyway, it may have been one of the funnest weekends of my life. We're in there, and you've got all these games going on, and you're betting. I wasn't a huge bettor, so didn't bet big. But when you bet on games, it just makes them more fun. I don't care who you are. And man, oh man, and when you had all those games going on, this tournament, and all those games were crazy good. Even then, it's just so exhilarating and so much fun. If people aren't into it, they don't know what they're missing.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like when you bring up Las Vegas, people immediately think about betting and gambling and all that stuff. And I will tell you this:
it's not about that.
When you go for the NCAA tournament, it's not about that. It is the atmosphere, and it's
amazing.
It is the most fun sausage fest you've ever seen in your entire life, because it is every dude all across the country out there rooting for his team. And I don't care if it's Lehigh or Holy Cross or whatever team sneaks in as a 16 seed, or if it's Duke or North Carolina or Indiana or Kentucky. It doesn't matter. Everybody is out there fighting and battling, and I don't care if you bet $5 on a game or $50,000 on a game. Everybody's battling and rooting just as hard, and it is the most fun. I don't care who you are. If you like sports, you have to go to the NCAA tournament in Las Vegas at some point in time, and for the first round of the games, because it's unlike anything you've ever seen.
It's too bad that hopefully Indiana will always be in the tournament, and that would prevent us from doing this. But man, oh man, how much fun would it be to do like a Thursday, Friday show out there for the first round?
Why would it prevent us from doing it?
Well, if Indiana's in the tournament somewhere, we'd probably need to be where they are. And I doubt they're going to be playing in Vegas.
I
listen to him making exceptions all of a sudden.
We'll see where we need to be. I don't know.
Making exceptions all of a sudden.
Yeah, we'll discuss that. We need to put that in the production meeting.
Oh my gosh, would that be fun? Holy cow. Well, they do have that big AAU tournament out there in Vegas, don't they, Jake?
Oh yeah, I go out there. We played in it every year out there. In July, they have the biggest national AAU tournament in the country out there.
Well, we may have to, from a recruiting standpoint, we may have to be there.
I don't disagree. I'm with you.
We're going to have to look into that. So, that sounds exciting and fun. But, folks, if you're looking for on the telly tonight in the big, you've got the Hawkeyes. They're at Purdue. Purdue's a 3-point favorite in that game, as is Minnesota, who's hosting Wisconsin. Who do you got in both these games? All right, you got Purdue and you got Iowa. Purdue's a 3-point favorite. There ain't no way. I'll tell you right now, there ain't no damn way I'm taking Purdue with 3 points. I'll take Iowa, and I'll give up 3 all day long.
I agree with you. I mean, I actually like Purdue's team. I'm a Matt Painter fan, and I don't hate Purdue like I was supposed to do as growing up as an Indiana kid. But I in this game, Iowa, to me, I'm going to pick Iowa to win just about anywhere except for probably Illinois.
I believe you. Yeah, I agree.
I think they're the second best team in the league.
All right, here's a tougher game for me. You got Whiskey at Minnesota. Minnesota, 3-point favorite. The points really are inconsequential. I cannot decide. Minnesota is a freaking enigma to me. Just a slightly less than as is Wisconsin. So, and the only difference in this case being a home team, I guess I'll take Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I like Minnesota from the standpoint of Oturu is probably the second best big guy in the league, from a scoring standpoint. And that's just because Luka Garza is that good. I mean, Oturu is probably top 5 scoring big guys in the whole country. And then Carr as one of their guards he's having a great year. They've got other guys that can step up and make shots. They got other guys that can play. I think Wisconsin, I think the turmoil of the season, I think, Kobe King leaving, Brad Davidson having been suspended the last game. I think the turmoil of the season is going to start to take its toll on Wisconsin, and I think we'll see them start to drop off a little bit. So I like Minnesota for sure in that one.
We'll certainly find out, and we'll look forward to it. Hey, forgot to mention, guess who's on the show tomorrow?
Who you got?
Dickie V, baby! It's a PTP! Dickie V! Dick Vitale on the program tomorrow. Had Christian Watford on today. We're killing it this week, man.
Yeah, I mean, Vitale's he's always got an interesting national perspective on something. Here's the fun part. Vitale can't come on tomorrow and talk about Duke and North Carolina because North Carolina's terrible this year. So he's going to have to talk about something other than the ACC. I'm really excited about it.
Hey, over-under right now on whether or not he does it any damn way.
I will guarantee you he talks about Duke in some way, shape, or form. He'll talk about the ACC. He'll figure out a way to talk about the ACC. Even if we bring up, hey, the Big Ten, toughest conference in the country this year or whatever, he will figure out a way to talk about the ACC. Mark it down.
We got to figure out a way. Jake,
set him up. We're setting up our guests now. That's awesome.
No. My mind is going in a different direction. I'd love to get a promo from Dick Vitale, but I don't know that we can get that. So I think we got to figure out how. Is there any way to make him say his own name?
And you kidding? He'll say his own name 7 times.
Holy cow! This is going to be funny. I mean, I've interviewed a lot of people. I have never interviewed someone like this. This dude he's a ball of energy. Now, he may not be tomorrow on radio like he is normally as crazy, but he's going to get up there. He's.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the winding. I may have to go out and run a few miles
down.
tomorrow morning before then. Get ready.
I mean, we're getting the winded down version of the Dick Vitale. I mean, this 8 years ago, we would have had to lower the volume on our headsets and everything because he'd have been going nutso. But I mean, we're getting the slower, lower volume version of Dick Vitale nowadays, I think.
Well, we're going to get it. That's coming up tomorrow on Indiana Sports Beat. Looking forward to it, man. We give you the best as best we can. So we appreciate you guys very, very much. And we try to do the best we can for you. Christian Watford on the show today, Matt Weaver as well. Thanks to both those guys. We appreciate them. Dick Vitale's on tomorrow. Looking forward to that as well. But until then, for my man Jake and my running mate Todd Leary, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.